Hey guys, welcome back to Hogwarts Park and to this 14th episode where we're continuing building the Forbidden Forest. And just in case you weren't there for the live stream on Midsummer Night, here's a little summary. Here's just a little montage of showing you what I did. Also, I revealed my face, but not for the first time. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it, but we built a nice little home in the center of the Forbidden Forest exhibit for Grop, Hagrid's giant brother, and a elderly mountain troll that has gotten senile and thus very docile, doesn't know how to harm a fly, and they are an odd couple living together in this park and in this Forbidden Forest exhibit. So, built them like a little, I wouldn't call it cave. It's a rock formation that has cave-like features, just because we can't build caves, even though we have the fluffy bush and the Malta tree to help achieve a cave-like feeling. And I only used this tent there to sort of secure the ground, but then liked, pretending that the two T-Rexes would go in there at night to sleep in it. And they can, of course, because it's a magical tent and it's bigger on the inside. I kind of liked it. I liked how the tent looked in there, so I left it there, and we built them a nice little home with even a little herb garden. And if you want to see what we did there, go check out the live stream. It was a ton of fun, plus you get to see my face. And then I just continued first by sort of cementing the outline of the crest with water. Because I had given the Rexes like a little lake there, a little pond, and I thought it would only make sense to take the river that I had there to sort of go around the crest on this half. And that's the easiest way to sort of secure this shape. And then I was kind of all over the place when I started. So first I made sure that I had a lake where I wanted to add the Dementors and the Werewolves. And then I went back up to this sort of middle section of the crest and of the forest and added a ton of Malta stuff, ruins, because I had already started establishing like some sort of old castle structure there, and I kind of liked it to break it up, the whole forest thing. And of course, this would help, again, cement, secure, keep the crest. Because the crest's shape. And I added this tower, or I moved it, which is, I added it during the live stream because Colt asked if I was going to add stuff there so that people would actually go there. And that was a good point because I wasn't thinking of that at all, because I was like, but this path is going to connect them to all sorts of stuff, so they are going to use it anyway. But of course, they would disperse more if I added like a restroom here, an attraction here. And I'm using the Jurassic Park, viewing thing. What is it called? The high one, the viewing tower or whatever here. Because I don't need viewing attractions in this, because you're capable to see all the creatures from the path. Now I'm doing a little teeny tiny Celtic pattern to add more importance to this T-Rex exhibit, to this troll and giant exhibit that is the center of it all, of this forest, as I said before. What I wanted to say is that I'm adding viewing towers from the Jurassic Park era, because I don't need those to be actual viewing attractions, and I'm pretending those are landing platforms for people who arrive on brooms or that travel on brooms. That is something that is introduced in the game in Hogwarts Legacy. And these towers with the round cage on top sort of look like sort of remind me of a landing platform, because they are round and you could land on those. So this is what we're pretending that they are. And now I'm doing path stuff. Cute little pattern. I don't know why the Celtic people, what are they called? Whatever. They liked their threesomes. So again, it's a threefold type of thing, a knot. And then I went to the Shrieking Shack. I remember that Jurassic Canon King asked me if there was going to be a whomping willow. And so I added the ugliest tree we have. And because I also feel it reminds me of willows, even though it has the wrong leaves for a willow. But whatever. Then I added this gate on top of path because I wanted the werewolf exhibit that connects to the Shrieking Shack, which is basically a haunted house that you have to go through. And once you arrive on the terrace behind it, you can choose to leave or go further into the werewolf exhibit. But I wanted there to be a gate. You know, there's supposed to be an old decrepit fence around the Shrieking Shack that says keep out danger and stuff. So that's why I decided to put this fence here. And that's why I thought it made sense to put the gate on path. Sadly, I forgot about that plan to put gate on path on all the other instances where I have the path leave the exhibit, which is stupid. I was contemplating going back and changing it. I don't know. I might still do it one day, but not now. So just keep that in mind. And then I added, of course, a ton of stuff to the entry of the Shrieking Shack by using as much death as I could. So dead trees, skeletons, skulls, I should say. And yeah, that's basically all the death we have in the game, sadly. Yeah, so I had to make this look like an attraction, like not just a regular house, because this is the park version of it. So I checked how it looks at night, added more death and wall separation for the people who decide that the haunted house was too much for them and they don't dare entering a werewolf exhibit. So yeah, and now I'm just placing path in the exhibit. I put a feeder up there so I would make sure. Or that would make sure that the werewolves who have to drink and to eat would use the whole exhibit. I'm going to talk about that later, some more. But for now, let me just... what I wanted to say something. I wanted to talk about the werewolves, yeah. Because, I mean, it's a walkthrough habitat. I know wizarding people are, like, they have a different perception or definition of what's dangerous, apparently. But still, werewolves and Dementors, there's no discussion there. They're too dangerous to just be in a walkthrough exhibit. So I haven't come up with a story for the Dementors yet, actually. But the werewolves are like guys like Lupin, you know, they're like the animators of a park. Is that what it's called in English? I don't know. Like the Mickey Mouse guy in the costume. So these are, this is Lupin and his friends finally got a job. They transform into their werewolf form, but of course they are provided with their wolfsbane potion, which makes sure that once they really transform into a werewolf, they stay sort of in their human consciousness and are capable of controlling, like late Bruce Banner in the Marvel universe. They sort of are the Hulk, but still Bruce Banner. At least they get a potion that makes this happen, which, you know, is a bit more realistic. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, this is sort of the lore behind this. It's real werewolves, but they're safe. But circling back to what I was talking about earlier, bringing death to the build as much as possible, that was really my motto for this build. Like, I wanted the forest to look dead. And I don't know, maybe it was my psychic powers. Maybe I am a witch after all. But all of a sudden, like the moment I had formulated that plan or that vision in my head, things started dying. I don't know what happened, but I think I might have managed to break the save file. Or, you know, I prefer to think that if I did something with my mind, magic, you know, because all of a sudden, as I said, things started dying. The werewolves had trouble finding food, finding water, and that ties back to what I was saying earlier, that I wanted them to use the entire exhibit, which is something new in this park, because I have been building only teeny tiny exhibits and confining the animals with decorations and rocks to even tinier spaces, so that even if they are incapable of forming territories anymore and constantly explore and try to form one, you know, I have the theory that if they are confined to this tiny space that has everything they need to survive, they don't have as much trouble finding something to eat and water. The werewolves started acting up, constantly getting notifications about them. But, you know, they still managed. So I was like, okay, I don't care. They're living. If every now and again I need to reset the settings, that's fine, you know? So I started decorating the exhibit. I had to sort of blend out all the forest into the more sparser, more deadly area where I would put a lot of dead trees. Here I'm trying to recreate the scene or the island from the Dementor Lake, where Harry rescues himself and Sirius through the help of a time turner with Hermione, and conjures his first real Patronus. That was, again, a suggestion from Jurassic Canon King. So I sort of made sure to have like two island peninsula situations, one that is more elevated, looking out onto the lake and onto the Dementor side of the exhibit, of the forest, which is where Harry would have been standing and watching the scene of all the Dementors closing in on him and Sirius and casting his Patronus. A ton of dead trees, skulls, and you know, I wanted to this whole. I mean, you're walking quite a lot in this exhibit, and I wanted you to always come across something atmospheric. So I put lots of like old shrines with the monolithic stone, and these torches, these archaic shapes, fire, death with the skulls. But I always sort of arranged them like someone put them there for some sort of ritual or something. At least I tried to make them seem a little spooky. So I was basically occupied adding interest to this exhibit, so that even if you don't encounter a werewolf until you're down at the lake, you know, it wasn't boring to walk through it, but because there's always something to discover, which wasn't the easiest thing to do, because I don't have much to work with, and I basically, like with every little installment of detail, I had to figure out a way to combine like the monolithic rock and the skulls and torches in a way that I hadn't used before in this exhibit. So at some point I changed over to castle ruin stuff, some old structures and nature, but again, another monolithic rock. And of course, what I added a ton of are these signs and flags indicating, like, basically when there was a fork in the road, I put them there, an abundance of them, because we're in the Forbidden Forest, and I kind of like it. It adds a sort of a theme parky vibe to have all of those flags and signs everywhere. And it adds to the adventure that you have these signs telling you if there's danger ahead or not, and which way to go if you want to see, I don't know, the moon calves as opposed to the Dementors, for example. So that's what I did. Then I added a ton of benches to this little terrace that the Shrieking Shack has for the people who are, who thought they could handle it but then couldn't, to sort of give them a moment to sit down and breathe, do their meditation or whatever. And I even put those sun things in front, so to give them like a bit of a feeling of being secure. Hidden, I don't know, in insecurity. Nothing can happen to them there, and yeah, I don't know. Then, another technique, quote unquote, I started using here was, again, I like doing that to turn off random rotation when I use my rocks, and this set of temperate rocks is really the best one to use this technique with. They are very versatile when it comes to this, because the smallest ones, you can always use them for some sort of old rock pavement, stone, pavement. And here I use them by having random rotation off to sort of give this little shrine that I'm building here again some sort of circle around it. Fantastic. With skulls. Wonderful. And then I added this little wall there to the tower that I had put a ton of foliage around, and this amber feature, and paved the little walkway that came into existence there by using the mortar walls. My goodness. Yeah, and to sort of increase the feeling that this is something ancient, I wanted to add like this really old pavement of rocks where there's some of them missing already because it's so old, and yeah. And I think it really works and adds to the feeling of this is something ominous, you know. And then I was done with the exhibit, and I went over to something easier, something small, just because all of this, putting that I had to use my brain to find all sorts of combinations of these few objects that was exhausting in a way. So I had to just take a break and do something easy. And now I'm trying to find out how I want to. I'm just laying a path into the Dementor exhibit, and I'm creating a fork for you to use if you want to exit, if this was too much for you. You're done. Thank you very much. And as I said, I still haven't come up with a Dementor explanation for this exhibit. It can't be a boggart because boggards don't necessarily turn into Dementors. It's a hairy thing that is happening there. They turn into what you're most afraid of. So it's not a boggart exhibit. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you guys have ideas how I could explain. Maybe there's like I don't know what happens to a Patronus, but let's just say that the staff, there's like a Patronus, an army of Patroni, guarding these Dementors, maybe, and accompanying the people entering and walking through it, so they won't be harmed. I don't know. Still, it feels too dangerous to really do this. I mean, we all know how Dumbledore felt about the Dementors being close to Hogwarts. I don't think this can be real Dementors, whatever. I don't know. So yeah, I had to close their exhibit off. And again, those have the entire exhibit to roam through, which became a problem. The death thing really started going when I added the Dementors. And I added two sorts of Dementors. If you remember, Jurassic Canon King suggested all of this and suggested to add these, what is it called? The raptor from the second Jurassic World movie. What is it? What is the raptor? The Indoraptor? Thank you very much. which I did, of course. But you might maybe also remember that I used the Theris as moon calves. And that was, I mean, that was a stretch, and I stretched it too far. It ripped. So I replaced them by Dryosaurus, which work much better. But I thought that actually a black Theri with the claws and those rattling sounds they make. Right now I'm doing like an old ancient ruin of a rock stairway, just to add some detail to this exhibit too. Yeah, I saw that, especially with the claws, you know, Dementors are supposed to have these long, bony fingers, and they do make rattling noises, as do the Theris here, and they look scary. So I thought they were a better Dementor than a moon calf. And I added those too, but they were just too dumb to drink and to eat. They were starving and dehydrating, and they kept dying off. I was tired of turning off the setting of the starvation and stuff. And so I just let it unfold. And once they started dying, I sold the 5 Theris I had put in there, bred new ones, to see if maybe this was a bad batch. I don't know. But they did the same thing. The Dementors, I don't know, the Dementors. The Indoraptor. I mean, it gets hungry and thirsty, but never to a point where it gets dangerous. But the Theris, they just kept dying, so I sold all but 2 and thought this was better. Maybe this was going to work if I had less of them in there, but these 2 started to die too, so I sold them all. Or let's just say, some of them died. I think one died, and no, both of them died. I was just I had 2 Theris left, let them both die, and thought this is the last chance for this species. If they make it, they make it. They can stay, but if not, I'm not going to breed more. But they both died, and as you saw before, I'm kind of in love with this bench thing, so I had to add 2 of these sort of wooden boardwalks for, cute little boats to land at. And change the lighting colors. Tried to block off this path so that none of the Dementors could walk out of their designated space. Honestly, there's not too much more to say of this. I'm going to make this exhibit snowy because I can, and the Dementors always announce themselves by the cold temperatures they produce. So of course I had to make it snowy, which is kind of cool. This way the snow makes sense, at least, or whatever. I like that I could do that. It adds to the Dementor thing and the lore. I think right now is when some of my theories were dying. I had trouble with this exit, this specific one. I had to redo it 3 times because the Indoraptor kept walking out of it. Very annoying. Because then they would start starving and dehydrating. That was and this is the only spot the stupid theory could drink from in the entire exhibit. I mean, come on. I'm literally angry because the theory is such a perfect Dementor. I would have loved to have them in there. Stupid game. I'm afraid this save file might be, broken now. I'm a little bit afraid to get back in there and continue building like I built this park so far, because there's still so much open space to be filled, and I don't know how to do it. If this is how it's behaving, like now, of course I can turn down my graphics settings, but I have the feeling this doesn't change much. Put a ton of trees there too, because I wanted this little island where Sirius and Harry at the end of the 3rd movie are being attacked by the Dementors. It's sort of, it's a clearing in the forest, so everything around it is really dense. So I wanted to at least try and do that. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm afraid, I don't know how to continue. It's a bit, Maybe it was just this one time, maybe the theories had a problem. I think I really need to continue doing these very small spaces where you have trouble putting the creatures in with the helicopter because there's not enough open space. But I like all the others, the dragons from the Triwizard tournament. Sometimes I get a notification that one of them is starving, but it's always, it's because of the feeder. The feeder is acting up. I guess it's the goat that manages to escape somewhere, and the feeder won't spawn a new goat until the old one was killed. So if there's no goat in there, the dinosaur can't eat. So it's just a matter of moving it and putting it back where it was. That sort of stuff happens. But that's kind of okay. It's not that the dinosaurs are too stupid or too occupied trying to form territories but not being able to anymore because the game can't compute. I think the key is to keep this way of building that I have been using before and not go over to giving them big exhibits where they can roam. And once they have reached the one end of the exhibit, they don't remember. They're like goldfish. Like 2 seconds later, they don't remember what they just passed. So every time they have to go look for food, and if it's a feeder, they have to walk like by accident by the feeder to find it again. Same with the water. And I think that's what's causing all the trouble, to be honest. So yeah, last try with those 2 theories. But again, was a Jalopterus, but I was on the fence. I was checking these alerts like as if it was important. But the J-Hos, like somehow, some of them sometimes they get me a notification, but basically every time I go to check on them, they're already on their way to the food. So I think the stupid ones died. So basically survival of the fittest here. And I'm left with, I don't know, just around about 20 or 30 free-flying Jalopterus that are able to deal. And I'm talking about this while building this little bridge by trying a new combination and seeing if these sun parasol-esque things, whatever they are, or whatever I'm supposed to call them, Theridied, bred a new one. I think now I'm breeding the last two of them. Just adding detail. Then I decided to add like merchant stands, cards of traveling merchants to this little plaza. One of them, the first one, is obviously selling plants and magical herbs and stuff. Another one is selling cages and magical creatures supplies. And the third one, this one with the tent, is supposed to be like a potions thing, but it's hard to sort of allude to that. So that's why I'm telling you. So in these crates and barrels, I'm pretending that there's like liquids and potion ingredients. And then I added picnic tables and just a little bit of nice stuff. So, you know, this is like you've reached the center, you've reached the goal. This is the place for you to chill, maybe have a snack. Maybe you brought your lunch. Just sit down and take a break from the adventure of the Forbidden Forest. So that's it. Dementor exhibit done. Werewolf exhibit. The Shrieking Shack is maybe not finally like decorated to a finish, but that's about it. I hope you like this. Maybe you have an idea for me about the Dementor problem, and I hope you'll stay tuned for the next episode. I have ideas, maybe fire salamanders. Or if we get around to it, I'm going to consult with Robert because he has requested a Quidditch pitch quite a while ago and I need his help to figure out how to do it. So I don't know which ones it's gonna be, but I guess it's one of the two. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye. Short little annex. I added an enclosure, so to say. I closed them in here. This one has already been showing no signs of trouble so far. So I added a second one. And I think this means we can keep them. See, I added rocks, signs. I need to put a bush here. Walls. Need to put another bush here. But I think it literally is the confinement thing. If they have too much space, they really don't know where to find food. Let's just hope that it is like this, because I love the theories as Dementors. So cool. Let's just hope this works out. But it does seem to. Alrighty then. This post-vidium. whatever. It all worked out in the end. Perfect. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. And keep your fingers crossed for those theories. Thank you. Bye-bye.